Well, we've invited you folks here to, first of all, say thanks on behalf of the county, but also to get your individual perspective as to how the I-78 event went from your perspective, and we look forward to your reports. Whoever would like to start, or John, would you like to introduce your colleagues?
Absolutely. I have Bob Dowd. He was on the scene. Was our communications vehicle. Bryan was with Bryan Burke, the Deputy Director. He was with me in the Emergency Operations Center. Eric Fahler was the 911 Center Supervisor. He was also in the Emergency Operations Center. He was actually the first one at the Emergency Operations Center on Saturday. I became aware of the incident. Eric had called me. Became aware of the incident on Saturday morning. And at that point, all we knew it was a multi-vehicle crash. Well, we have multi-vehicle crashes all the time on the interstate, so it wasn't a big concern immediately until we found out it was more than 40 cars. I was in Hershey and responded back to Lebanon, and we decided to open the EOC. Made contact with Jamie, and Jamie made contact with Commissioner Phillips, and they both came to the EOC. Bryan came to the EOC. Eric was already in the EOC, and then we just were there to support the ongoing efforts that were on the scene throughout the day, with representatives from Pennsylvania Emergency Management and the Red Cross. That's about the extent of what we did in there. Just assisted with needs that were required for the response on the scene. I'll turn it over to Bob or Bryan if he wants to say something first. Bob was on the scene, so he can speak to what went on the scene.
We responded out to the scene with the mobile command trailer, one representative from EMA, and one dispatcher from the 911 Center. Once we got there, we assisted the on-scene commanders with setting up a unified command. That consisted of fire, police, and EMS that were the core unified command. In addition to the Lebanon EMA representative, we also had a PEMA liaison and a PennDOT liaison that were on scene in the command post for the duration of the incident. Mobile command unit on scene, we were able to offload all the incident-related communications right to the dispatcher in the command post. This gave the command staff the ability to have face-to-face conversations with the dispatcher and get real-time information about the status of all the units that were on scene, resources still responding, and any unmet needs being requested by the units working in the field. Using the mobile command unit, we're able to facilitate a secure communication between both the county and state EOCs. This enabled resource requests and situation status reports to be shared with speed and accuracy. Through the cooperation, expertise, and hard work of all the first responders and supporting agencies, we were able to accomplish all incident objectives efficiently and effectively.
Well, I can tell you this, mass casualty of this magnitude was the first I've seen in almost 21 years. So dealing with this was also a first time for me. I had a lot of good people in the comm center, which helped out. One was a shift leader being there for 7 years. But just to give you some highlights from the 911 center, at 9:31 we received the first call, and within 10 minutes we answered 30 911 calls. We had 5 dispatchers on the deck, and then they notified the duty officer to respond into the communication center to assist, and also additional staff people from the dispatch center. At that point, Director Wilson was notified, and we went partial activation for our EOC, and the state was involved too with their EOC. We had a PEMA representative as well respond down to our EOC to assist us. There were approximately 38 units dispatched initially, including buses to the scene for rewarming, relocation of apparatus throughout the county, and fire police countywide. Everybody came to assist. We also sent a dispatcher into the field to assist with the command trailer, and the event ended by midnight, and cleanup continued through the night by PSP and multitudes of companies.
I learned of the incident when my pager went off for a hazmat response. It was shortly before that John and I had some conversation on the telephone. We didn't know the magnitude of the incident until sometime after that. We knew it was multi-vehicle, but we had no idea how many vehicles. Responded to the EOC and pretty much assisted Bob by various means of communication, cell phone, messenger, message on text, whatever, keep those things off the air, things that they need on scene from us. We're in a lot of communication, probably hourly in the beginning, with conference calls with PEMA in Harrisburg, with their PEMA director, and pretty much just help where we could to get the resources that were requested.
Worth remarking that FEMA sent down their central area director to be here in the EOC. He was going to stay up at the state EOC, and I think the FEMA director Flynn personally said, "You're going. You know, I want you to go down there." And you know, my sense is that that's in reaction to the incidents that have occurred on interstates over the last several years, and you know, they're being very cautious that when something does happen, they want their top people to be involved. And so it was nice to have him here. I mean, he worked with them a lot, but he did a nice job. And I think, and the director was on the update calls, and you know, and I know WLBR was running it the other day, the clip from the Senate hearing on the Turnpike snowstorm hearings that Director Flynn mentioned to the Senate committee that the I-78 incident was very well done, and wanted the legislature to know that this was handled very well by all the first responders and everybody involved. So that's a pretty good pat on the back in light of the people still talk about the Valentine Day storm on I-78 and the Turnpike and all that. So to have one go so well, even though it's unfortunate that some lost their lives, but there were plenty of them that were saved too. So.
My only comment would be the depth of professionalism that I was observing on Saturday. It was awesome that we have that team, and it works so well with the state and the state police and so on. Very well oiled and very, well done and executed. So I want to thank you. And I think the public needs to be aware. And I saw there was an article in the Merchandiser. Unfortunately, it didn't list all the, it was an incomplete list, but that we certainly want to recognize everyone that participated, and we thank them. But the public, whenever we talk about investing in safety, this is, these are the kinds of things that the public, when you need these services, we have them, and we have good depth in our response. So thank you.
I just would like to say, first of all, thank you, and secondly, this whole incident actually, I think, backs up my personal philosophy about the role of a county commissioner in this county. And I think primarily in things like public safety and things of that nature, our role is to hire and have in place the right people, to stand back out of the way, allow those people to do the job that they're prepared to do, and make sure that you have the tools and the funding and things like that to carry out that job. So this will probably go down in history, as Jamie already said, as an exemplary job that was carried out by not only our county employees, which you gentlemen represent, but also all of the first responders in the county, and the excellent training that they receive and their ability to carry out the process. So again, kudos to all of you, and I feel really proud for the role that I played here, and that is to make sure that we have the right people, the right equipment, and the funding in place to make it possible for this to be done. So thank you.
Again, kudos to all involved. The first responders have just excelled. We came out of the blizzard, which took tremendous resources of time and skill, followed up by this particular incident on Route 78. I think that all of you and all of the people in the community have shown that in Lebanon County, we don't just respond, which is important, to people who live here. But again, you guys are like the Good Samaritans, all the first responders. They responded and helped total strangers from all over the place. And I think that speaks volume of the character of everyone that lives in the Lebanon Valley. So thank you to everyone from the bottom of my heart. I think that it's well deserved because you guys must be exhausted, and just relax, refresh, and know that you did a job well done. Thank you.
Obviously, you go through a lot of training and simulations. Can you tell me how you feel that prepared you for this?
The training certainly helps in making the exercises that we perform annually with all emergency responders. It prepares us to deal with these incidents. You never know what the incident's going to be. We never expected to have a 64-car pileup on Interstate 78. We use our training to respond to those incidents, and along with the staff that I have, I couldn't do it by myself. So it's all the expertise that each individual person gains through the training and exercises.
A mass casualty training kind of generalizes to other incidents, even though it might not have been like a tornado training or something like that. Is that
sure?
So,
Absolutely.
Yeah. What kind of, you're briefing us here, has PEMA been in touch with you in terms of maybe getting together and going over this whole thing to see what went right?
There will be an after-action review. The individual departments are working on those now. Those command people then will be invited along with the state and ourselves, and we'll sit down and do a final report after an action review to see what went right, what went wrong, if it